Our man, Butcher Boy Joe Shasky, the Morning Roast. He was just showing off his new weekender bag that he's got, looking sharp, looking like $1 million. And we're gonna need that $1 million. Apparently, we're gonna have to collect something here. Like, what? Let's get your take. We've been on this far longer than I thought. We've been talking about Deebo all day. Curious. I mean, I wish I was a better journalist so I could frame the question better. But what do you think? Like, what do you think this is all about?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Look,
that's all we're doing right now is guessing.
Here's what I do know. All right. And just the way I run business. Okay. Are you seeing what's happening with the Oakland A's? When they're the most successful team in the Bay Area. When we just rank who's been to the playoffs the most over the last 20 years, they have. But what they've done is systematically destroy and trade away all of the players that people become attached to. Is this about winning? Absolutely. But it's also about emotional attachment to certain players. And that's kind of where I'm at today, because I look at Warriors, I look at the San Francisco Giants, two other teams in this particular market. Both are kind of outliers in the player empowerment era, where all these guys are bouncing around. They're all free agents. And they've got 3 guys on both teams that they celebrated in the last 24 months having 10 years or more tenure with one club. It's such an outlier, and I think it's very unique to the Bay Area. We love our own. We like it when you were drafted here, and we saw you come up, and we saw you struggle as we celebrate Jordan Poole, it feels like now, with the Warriors, more so than we even did the assassin that was Kevin Durant. And we know KD, on the hierarchy, much better, more accomplished basketball player, but we never loved him the way we're loving JP. And where I'm going at with this is the Niners better be careful. They traded away DeForest Buckner, and now we don't know what's happening with Deebo Samuel. And you better win. If you're going to be the team that operates like the Patriots, you better win like the Patriots. And for as much as the Patriots did winning, they also extended very key players, Stephon Gilmore, Wes Welker, Edelman, Gronkowski. So I think that both sides, Deebo, if he wants a little extra money, if he feels slighted, whatever it is, the 49ers, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because I think that they are a match made in heaven, and I have a feeling this is going to end very bad for both sides.
Well, the interesting thing about this, Joe, is, and I want to know what you make of this, is it seems like it started with Deebo's brother with his comment on Facebook, and the 49ers, from everything that we can tell, they didn't let that ride. Like, they went to Schefter and said, look, make it perfectly clear, we will pay him any day of the week. Like, this ain't about us not paying him. They wanted to get that message out clearly. We will pay him. He just don't want to talk to us. What do you make of that whole dynamic? Because I understand exactly what you're saying, and you're right, but it doesn't. Well, he may want 30, and they're willing to give him 20. Like, yeah, there's that, but it's not. It sounds as if the 49ers aren't saying we're just going to lowball him and not give him no money. We're willing to work. He just don't want to talk to us right now.
I don't know what's going on with Deebo Samuel. I mean, look, young black athlete playing wide receiver, what's everyone going to say? He's a diva. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him right now. I do know this. The standard operating practice for NFL players and young players in sports now, they do things via social media. I'm going to unfollow you. I'm going to scrub my account of all of the different 49er garb. Like, Kyler Murray's doing it right now. AJ Brown's doing this right now. He's also represented by the same guy that Deebo Samuel is being represented by. Do I love it? No, I'm an older white guy. You know, I like the old school way of meet me in the middle. I'll show up and work. I'll keep grinding, and I want to be here long term. But that's not how these young athletes view it. And if you're Deebo Samuel, you play a physical brand of football that does have an expiration date on it. And if I'm looking over at Ezekiel Elliott and guys that play in a physical match, it does not end well in the NFL. I mean, it is not for long for a reason. But his counterparts, George Kittle and Fred Warner, they showed up to these particular team activities, and then they got broken off, right? They got broken off, top dollar at that position. So I don't know if this is the Niners are being just, they have a threshold and it's slightly above their threshold. I don't know if Deebo is just saying, hey, I feel disrespected by the initial offer. Maybe he just simply doesn't want to play here. Where does Jimmy Garoppolo factor into all of this? Like, I don't know what to make of this. I'll tell you this. They need a consigliere. They need somebody who could take a deep breath, get everyone together at the table and say, guys, look, we're all better off with each other. All right. I know we're a couple million off. You might feel slighted. They need somebody, and this is John Lynch's role, to step in and get all the parties involved to break bread at one table. And I think the longer this lasts, the more I'm worried this is going to end in him being traded.
Do you think this is a usage rate issue? Do you think this is he's the 49ers want him to do too much? You mentioned Ezekiel Elliott. He's obviously a workhorse for the Dallas Cowboys. Hasn't been really, he's been fine, but certainly hasn't lived up to that contract they signed him to. That's the nature of an everyday running back, though. That position has been so, just destroyed over the years because of contracts like Ezekiel Elliott, and owners and general managers taking the stance like, yeah, we can't overpay for a running back. We can't do that anymore. Now the conversation is, well, look at Saquon Barkley. You can't even draft a running back high anymore. With this, like, Deebo is it's a stretch to even call him a part-time running back. Like,
he's a football player.
He dabbles in the running back position. Like Kenny and I are radio hosts. We dabble in television. We ain't getting worn out on the TV screen. No, we just that's what I feel like Deebo is. And I feel like the conversation about him not wanting to be that wide receiver running back combo, that doesn't make sense to me.
I don't even know if that's his gripe. I really don't. Like, even if it is his gripe, okay, let's just say it is. All right, let's look at wide receiver like comps. When you buy a house, right, you got your mortgage and the bank's going to say, hey, show me the appraisal. I want to see all the comps. Okay, first 3 years in the league. That's where he's at, 3 years in. His numbers are better than Devontae Adams. Better. And that's with a Hall of Fame quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. 3 years in, okay, his numbers line up with Tyreek Hill's 3 years in. Both of those guys saw a big bump up from about 700,000 in year 3 to 16, 18 million for Devontae in year 4. And then Hill went to 7 and then 18 million in subsequent years, year 4 and year 5. He wants to be paid comparable to what those guys are. And when people say, hey, you're also a running back, I think he thinks that takes a little off top. And if I'm him, I'm looking around, I'm saying, the only reason I'm a running back is because of this mediocre quarterback he got under center who can't throw the ball 10 yards down the field. So to me, there's like 17 variables at play here. But if I just look at the comps, production value, okay, his numbers stack up. Now, Devontae and Tyreek are in contract number 3. He's looking for contract number 2. I do think that matters in their resume. Their body of work is more comprehensive. No one's doubting that. But when you see what Christian Kirk got, how can you not want more? I think that
everything off right.
And there. I think that kind of screws things up. And then the other thing is this: I don't know what to make of the Jimmy G money, guys. I've seen half the experts say salary cap matters. You know, Jimmy's money is precluding them from doing things in free agency and extending their own. I've also seen experts say it is irrelevant. So I don't know what to make of the money. I'll tell you this. Jimmy G needs to get off this roster. If Jimmy G is here, whether real or not, week 1 and Deebo is not, this 49er fan is going to be devastated because that player right there was the best player on the field for the Niners 3 weeks in a row, giving his heart and soul in the playoffs. He's a winning football player stud. You need to reward those guys, man.
I agree with you 100%. I've had a long, lengthy discussion at the start of the show about the whole Deebo Samuel situation, and it's complex. And it's complex for a guy like me who is a fan of the 49ers, and I love Deebo. I love everything that he brought to the table his 3 years here, and especially last year, being the leader of that team towards down the stretch. But when you talk about the complexity of this situation, now you take the fan hat off a little bit, and you put on the journalist side, and you look at all sides. The 49ers, they got to be looking at the situation as well as, look, Deebo, we want you here. We're trying to pay you. If you just, hell-bent on not being here, we understand that you're doing what's best for Deebo Samuels. That's cool. We have to do what's best for the 49ers. And if that means that doesn't mean, in this trade situation, let's take care of, they like to do this a lot, right? Let's make sure he has a nice landing spot and make sure that, he's taken care of, because that's the type of organization we are. No, I need absolutely the best compensation that I can get for Deebo Samuels, and I need it to work for me. Maybe this is just a personal thing. I need it to work for me. So guess what? if the Packers and the Lions are offering the same thing, you're not going to Green Bay, Deebo. You're going to Detroit. And this is what you called for. You called for business, and now we're going to have business. And like I said, I want Deebo here. I want this to all work out. And I kind of think that it might all work out. But,
I hope.
But at the same time, I do understand where the 49ers may be coming from in this situation as well.
You guys are Kings fans. You understand this. It's hard to draft. It's hard to identify the right player.
Impossible here.
It's hard. It's hard to identify the right guy, bring him in, have great value, great production, nurture that into a stud. It's so hard. It's so hard. The Niners hit not one, but 2 grand slams in 2019. Okay. If it was so easy to just trade away and replace and get guys, believe me, more teams would operate that way. When you draft someone second round that high, you pray to God they're as impactful as what Deebo Samuel is. How they have not figured this thing out and realized the relationship status and know your personnel and know what his ballpark number was. I don't know. I don't know what happened. Did Deebo just go crazy on them? I don't know. But guys, I'll say this.
Bad advice.
I'll say that he might be. That totally might be the case. Here's what I would say. It's bad business for you to trot your second-year quarterback out making $7.7 million and penny pinch over $1 million or $2 million or $3 million or whatever happened, whether it's a relationship or not. It's bad business for him to lose the top weapon in the NFC arguably last year. That's just bad. When you have a young rookie quarterback on a controllable scale, you are adding, not taking away. You're adding DeAndre Hopkins to Kyler Murray. You're adding guys, these weapons around Jared Goff making no money. When these guys start making money like Mahomes is now, that's when I can be discerning and trade away a Tyreek Hill. Not when a guy's making $7.7 million. So to me, this would be quarterback suicide. I'm taking away a weapon for my player, Trey Lance, who I like, but I have no idea what he is. Like everyone around the league would just say team building 101. That's a risky play. That's just a really risky play. And then just look at their history in drafts. I mean, for every Deebo, there's five Dante Pettises. That's just the reality.
I'll push back a little bit, Butch. I'll push back a little bit on. I've been a one-man wolf pack with this. I think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan has drafted better than they get credit for. Because you look at this team that went to the Super Bowl, this team that went to the NFC Championship last year, these are all pretty much all homegrown guys outside of Trent Williams and maybe a player here or there. All these guys are homegrown. They drafted all of these guys. And they have this weird thing of, for the most part, they miss the high guys, but they nail it for round 4 and below. Like they find all pros damn near at 4 and below. So I think they're better drafters than people give it credit for. I'm not saying that you just go find another Deebo because Deebo's a one of one, but you can go find another high quality player in that draft. They've proven that. They've proven they can find more players.
Kenny, their hit rate is really good. It's probably somewhere between 33 and 42% because I was doing the math, right? Like what's their just overall draft hit rate? 33 to 42%. I mean, you're still running the gamut here. And as look, if you get back a first rounder, okay, think about what they did with DeForest Buckner. DeForest was an all-pro player. All right. They were like, we're going to get the best D tackle in the draft. How's that worked out? I mean, how's that worked out with Javon Kinlaw? It sounds good. It looks good on the spreadsheet. And then when you watch the guy play, there's a precipitous drop off between Javon Kinlaw and his availability and what DeForest Buckner is. So look, it sounds great. I'm just saying it's so much harder to actually go out and execute and do. I mean, look at last year's draft. We barely saw Trey Lance. Banks, the kid Banks, they took in the second round, didn't see at all year. Trey Sermon, I saw him for a cup of tea and I was like, this kid cannot play right now. Now, Elijah Mitchell in the 6th round was a great value find, but I'm saying like, it's just drafting is hard. And yes, the irony is they're probably in the upper echelon in terms of hit rate. And even then the hit rate's not that great. This is a tough needle to thread is where I'm going at with this. Absolutely. I'm not in the business of surrendering really, really good players unless I absolutely have to. The Rams would, if you traded Deebo, the Rams would be like, thank God you moved Deebo Samuel. Now we can breathe offensively.
I'm not into draft picks. Like I'm just not in any league. Like give me the player. Keep the picks.
I'm 100% with you. I'm like, and look, the Rams strategy is a genius one. They've amortized all of their money that they've paid over all these guys 4 years down the line. They have no draft picks, yet they win. Like the proof is in the pudding. They win. And you're inches away from winning. Why are you going to remove one of those guys from the equation in Deebo Samuel, who the 2 best players on the other team walked over and consoled crying on one knee because he gave his heart, blood, sweat, and tears to this team. And I'm passionate because I love the player. He embodies what it means to be a football player. And so I don't know what happened here. They need a consigliere to step in and get everybody on the same page.
How much of Deebo is Kyle Shanahan?
It's a great question. It's a great question because here's the thing. Deebo is spectacular, and there are certain things that Kyle does that put him in a position to make plays. Pierre Garçon was in a position to make a lot of plays. How many plays did he make? Okay. Dante Pettis, how many plays did he make? All right. Brandon Ayuk, who was in the doghouse, who I actually like. I mean, how many plays has he been in position to make plays? Like at some level, he can open the door. You got to jam your foot in there and make a play. And last year, just watch the highlight package, guys. It's Deebo on a smoke screen, like breaking 5 tackles and then housing it from 45 yards out. Like if it was that easy, they'd be throwing that to Jawan Jennings. They'd be throwing that when they had Jeremy Curley as the number 1 wideout, they would have done that. So like, yes, I think scheme absolutely factors into it. But this is a situation like Jerry Rice fit Bill Walsh's scheme brilliantly. I'm not saying he's Jerry Rice. Deebo fits Kyle Shanahan's system brilliantly. Like this is one of those rare situations. You guys are better off together. Like, can't you see that? Yeah. Like Deebo, go to the Jets. What's going to happen to you, bud? Like, come on.
Same thing that happened to Le'Veon Bell.
Come on. Like Seneca Wallace was great in Pittsburgh. We all agree. Or Mike Wallace, excuse me. He goes to Miami. This dude was on a milk carton. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys, Plaxico comes to mind. He was better in Pittsburgh, you know? So I don't know. This is a rare situation where like the grass isn't always greener. Both sides. This is not the Niners, not just Deebo. Both of them realize you're better off together. It's
the perfect marriage, man. And they need to figure that out. And to be honest with you, Butch, this is where I come back to a little bit. Maybe I'm in denial. But as far as I know, these guys haven't even really talked. Like there hasn't been no negotiation. Kyle hasn't talked to Deebo. Deebo hasn't talked to, like, these are, I don't want to say hearsay because, you know, they're getting some type of word from, you know, 49er brass from somebody. It's getting to the agent, it's all that. But these guys haven't sat down and had conversations from what I can tell. And I do believe when you talk about that middleman, that guy that, you know, kind of says, hey, we need to figure this out.
The old uncle.
Yeah. I think in this particular case, it'll be, John Lynch knows it too. I think John Lynch knows it, but I think it'll be Kyle. I think Kyle will be like, John, I don't ask you for a lot. Like I give you your way a lot of the times. Let's figure this out. And Kyle will talk to Deebo and be like, Deebo, you're my guy. You know we got love for each other. You asked for the ball. I gave you the ball in the playoff. We're good. Let's figure this out, man. I feel like Deebo's a little emotional. Like I do feel like he's a little emotional and maybe the emotions and everything got the best of some of the stuff that he heard. But I do think they'll figure this out.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, there's the agent element, right? Like, I don't want to dismiss that. The agent is also representing DK and AJ Brown. And it's kind of like a good, the bad, the ugly kind of standoff where all of them are looking at each other like, who's going to take the bag first? Because I want $1 more. Right. Like that's what they're all doing right now. So to me in this one, there's a conflict of interest clearly by the agent. And I don't agree with the tactics. Like I've always been a person, if I want to be with you, I'm going to sit down and I want to squeeze you for as much as I can. But at the same time, I want to be able to look you in the eye every single day that I'm going into work and not feel like I robbed you blind. Like if you work in any environment, and I know sports is so different, don't you want to like, hey, we both left a little on the table and we both feel comfortable. We both feel good, but like I want an amicable working relationship moving forward. This feels so much like the TO thing.
Give me my money. I don't give a damn if you don't say hi to me at the coffee machine. Give me my damn money.
But Damian, how can the guy who literally ran over to Kyle and said, give me the ball on 3rd and whatever it was in Dallas and was like, I'm going to score a touchdown. And Kyle's like, you know what? I'm going to give him the ball. And then they do that. And you're the coach sitting there. I mean, Casey, you've been on the sideline. There are certain players that you just know, like that guy made that play. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's when I watch Deebo. It's 3rd and 7. They're in Green Bay. They can't move the ball. It's snowing. The guy's got blood just dripping down his elbow. And he gets a first down when the entire stadium knows that he's getting the ball. Yeah. He's an unbelievable football player. Here's the other element. It changes the tenor of your offense. He is so physical and so unique as a Swiss Army knife. You're losing a dynamic on this team. Like if you take Derrick Henry away from the Titans.
That's why this doesn't make sense, man. That's why none
of
this.
Sorry, I'm passionate. I'm losing my mind. It really. I love the player so much. My dad called me and was like, "They cannot lose Deebo." Like they can't. And the amount of people that are fans that watch that season that guy had that are so ready to go bye-bye, it kind of makes me sick. Like, I'm not saying I justify.
Stop it.
It's Kenny.
Well, I get the business, but like, I just watched this dude have a historic 49er season and then do things in the playoffs that this team had. They had no business winning 3 road games the way they did. No business. It's because of him, like in other guys, but in large part because of him. So part of it. I just want to see him get rewarded. And on top of that, like, it's bad business to remove players I'm emotionally attached to over and over again. Not that they've done it. They did it with Buck, but that becomes a pattern. That's not good for your fan base, man.
Yeah. I think I do believe they'll all come together and they'll figure out what's best for business for everybody. This is best for Deebo's career to be here in San Francisco. It's best for Kyle Shanahan's career to have a guy like Deebo Samuel.
Absolutely.
It's best for John Lynch. It's
Trey
Lance. It's best for everybody involved to make sure that he stays here at all costs. And I think they'll figure it out.
Well,
I'm holding on hope still.
They have to. And look, if he doesn't want to play running back, like, guess what? Okay, fine. Like, we'll figure that out. Like, I know you increase your value or whatever. I kind of want to see him play just receiver too. Like, maybe he only busted out in the playoffs in certain situations. It doesn't have to be he only had 330 yards rushing last year in the regular season, 550 total in his career. Like, balance it out to where you're not using them until December 24th. Like, we bust this Christmas package open for the playoffs, and that's all we use it as. So, man, they just got to figure it out. You don't let good players walk out of the building.
Doesn't add up, Butch. Doesn't make sense.
Something's off, man.
The information we have right now, it doesn't make sense. There's a big the answer to the question is 5, and all we got is 1 + 1. We're missing something.
I don't get it. He's in Miami. This is the other element. He's in Miami, right? He's in Miami, and he's doing whatever. He's scrubbing his Instagram, but he's not working out with Trey Lance, right? Now, they can pick up the rapport and everything, but, like, to me, the whole organization should be about how do we get Trey Lance to be the best version of himself running day one, and that's working with all of his weapons. Kittle, Ayuk, Jennings, Deebo, they all should be at Camp Trey, wherever the heck they are in LA, just throwing the ball. Like, that's what Brady would be doing, right? And I can't stand Brady anymore, but, like, that's what he would be doing, and that's what I want to see young Trey do. And I'm seeing it with Ayuk, but I'm not seeing Deebo there, and I don't blame Deebo for not being there.
Yeah,
but Brady trying to get to Miami with Deebo. He trying to figure out how he can get down there.
Fellas. Yeah. Brady is clearly, like, sucking the blood of children or something. Like, how does he look younger than what he is now? Like, what is going on? What is the 30 for 30 doc that we're going to hear 20 years from now? And we're all going to say, I knew it. I knew it was something. Like, he is on some blood doping something or other, right? Like, how does he look younger?
Money. He wasn't chubby and ugly when he was drafted. He was broke.
Yeah.
Now he's got money, man. Money's a game changer. You become significantly more handsome once you get a couple bucks in your pocket and you buy $300 face cream.
Like people say sometimes, you're not ugly, you're just broke.
That's it. That's facts.
Well,
that's facts.
You're not creative and eccentric, you're broke. Like, that's what they would say about George Lucas. He's a weirdo. No. He's filthy rich, so he's eccentric.
Yeah, that's it. That's 100% it.
Sorry, guys. I'm crazy about Deebo. I love this player. I'm emotionally attached, and it just makes me sick, man.
Yeah.
We'll see if they get it figured out, man. It's clear we don't have all of the information, but you both think we haven't hit the point of no return. This can get worked out.
I do.
I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Like, I put my finger in the air of the wind. I don't know which direction it's going, guys. It's a swirl, right? It's one of those fly balls. I've been turned around 3 or 4 times. I don't know what to expect. I really don't.
It can and it will get done.
I'm hope.
I'm open, but I think it will get done. I think the necessary parties will sit down and talk like men. And they'll talk face to face. They'll look each other in the eye, and I think they'll figure something out.
I hope. I sure hope.
Now, top-rated morning show host in the Bay Area right here. It's Butcher Boy Joe Shasky, 95.7.